Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Haphazard Book Nook, and today I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up. So in September, I ended up reading 20 books and I DNF'd one book. I'm going to go through these pretty much in chronological order from which ones I read first, and then just go throughout the month. There will be a couple of them that are going to be out of order just because they're either by the same author or they're part of a series. So the first book that I read was Blood Like Mine by Stuart Neville. This book I gave a 3-star. It is a book about dual perspective about a mom and her daughter who are just like driving around the U.S. They're like struggling for money. They don't stay places for very long. And then the other perspective is of a police officer, and he is investigating a string of murders going across the United States, and those two perspectives just kind of converging at the end. The next book that I read is Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. I gave this book 4 stars. I know a lot of people hate this book. I don't understand why. So the premise of this book was really interesting to me when I was reading it. It has, I believe it's 3 different storylines, and each of the storylines have a different main female character who is going through like a book. So the first one is like a cozy mystery, the second one is like a slasher, and then the third one is more of like a fantasy, like Hunger Games-esque sort of book. And then the fourth part is just like how those 3 end up being connected in the end. The next 2 books are both by Poppy Jacobson. The first one is Diamond in the Dark. That one I gave 4 stars. I really liked it. It is a I would say FM, like Why Choose, Mafia. It's a lot of different things. Dark romance that I ended up really liking. I like the way that the guys ended up caring for the main female character. It ended up being really good. A lot of it could have been cut out or shortened, and then some parts could have been longer, which is why I gave it a 4-star, but I thought it was pretty good overall. And then my one DNF was by Poppy Jacobson. It is Sin and Sapphire. It is going to be the 4th book in the series. It was actually a beta read, and it was just so boring. I got to 60% and I just couldn't make myself read it anymore. I was not invested. It's another mafia romance story, but I don't know, that one for whatever reason just didn't work for me. All right, and then the next 5 are all 5 of the Heartstopper novels by Alice Oseman. I gave every single one of these books 3 stars. They were very mid. I know this is like a beloved series by people. I absolutely love it. It's about 2 boys who end up in a relationship and basically having to navigate the relationship and, going through high school and then moving on to college. But it was just mid for me. I don't know. I wasn't a super big fan, but it was all right. Otherwise, I wouldn't have read all 5 of them. So, I wanted to see what it was all about, which is why I gave them a try. So yeah, I gave all of them 3 stars, every single one. So, The next book that I read is a different one for me. It's called Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. This one I gave 3 stars. This book it's going along primarily up until Betty, the main character, is, I would say, like 10 or 12. I don't even know how old she is by the end of it, and it's basically like how her family came to be together and like going through life and like the struggles that their family has. It is set, I believe, in like the 60s, but I don't know. I read this book because somebody said it would make me cry, and it didn't. I just kind of slogged my way through it. I don't know. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. So 3 stars. And then my next book is Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. This book was a 2-star. I thought this book was going to be adorable. I was so excited. It is about a single mom whose son goes off to college, so she starts playing a video game and ends up becoming friends with like the leader of the guild that she joins. And then he ends up going back to the town that she lives in, because his mom lives there, the leader of the guild, who's, you know, the same age as the main female character. And then basically forming a relationship based around this game, and then playing it together. I did not like it. I just didn't like it. It was, one, boring. Two, it seemed like it was trying to shove every single like talking point that is going on in the world into one book, which there are things that need to be talked about, but at the same time, like, not every single thing needs to be talked about at the same time, you know? It makes it to where it's not as impactful for some of the things that could have been talked about more. All right, and then the next 4 books I read were the first 4 books in the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Ruby Dixon. I gave the first one, third, and fourth all 4 stars, and the second one 5 stars. This book series is about a group of girls who were abducted by aliens, and then because of some sort of malfunction on the spaceship, they were basically like abandoned on this ice planet, and they're trying to survive, and one of them runs into one of the like a different kind of alien that lives on this planet, and then them all kind of ending up together. I thought these were super cute. I honestly thought that these were going to be stupid. I never thought I would end up reading them. I don't know why I even ended up reading the first one, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a try. And then I fell in love with them. I love the characters. They're so cute. I can't wait until I think book 7 or something has like a deaf character. It's so exciting. For whatever reason, I just love them. It's just like popcorn. Like, I read one and then I wanted another one and another one and another one. So I did binge those 4 in a row. All right, and then the next 2 books I read were both by Caitlin Taylor. The first one is Deceit. It was an ARC read that I read. It is a dark academia, Why Choose book that is going to become a trilogy. I ended up giving this one a 4-star. I thought it was cute. Like, I ended up liking all the guys. They felt really different because there are 4 guys, 4. But they all ended up feeling really different, so it was really nice to see. But there were things that I would have changed. And the other book that I read by her is actually the Love and Horror Book Club book that we read for September, which was Graves. This is an MFM stalker dark romance, and this one I ended up giving 3 stars. Actually, those are swapped. Deceit is 3 stars, Graves is 4 stars, and pretty much only because I liked Xaden and Graves did it get 4 stars. If he wasn't as like wild as he is, I would have given this book 3 stars too. Make of that what you will. A lot of people did not like it. It is not a beginner dark romance, so there is that to consider if you decide to read it. All right, and then the next book that I read was No Gods, No Monsters by Cadwell Turnbull. This book I gave 3 stars as well. It was very confusing. It jumps all over the place. You don't really know what's happening for the first like half of it, and then once you start understanding what's happening, there were some people that I did not want to be in the perspectives, and we were just kind of like shoved in the perspectives, and then there were some people who I really wanted to be in their perspectives, and we barely got anything. But it's kind of where like all these different kinds of monsters, like werewolves and things or whatever, they exist in, you know, the real world, but they're underground. And all of a sudden a video goes out of a werewolf getting killed and turning from a wolf into a human. And then there was another video around the same time of a bunch of wolves on the side of the road. It like pans away and then pans back, and then there's a bunch of humans there. So like people are basically finding out that monsters exist, and all different kinds of monsters too. So like there's the witches, there's the shifters, there's just a lot of different kinds. It's a lot of the monsters trying to navigate the world with the world finding out that they are there. My next book is actually a nonfiction. It is Dark Archives by Megan Rosenblum. I gave this book 5 stars. It was so good. It is about basically books that are bound in human skin leather, and like the impacts of it and the different sort of like anthropological like reasons behind it, and then the kinds of books that are bound in human leather, like why those ones were chosen to be bound that way. It was really interesting. Anybody who's interested in like the history of things like that, or like more like morbid curiosity sort of things, I really recommend this book. I really ended up liking it. I learned a lot. Right, the book that I read after that was All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This book I gave 4 stars. This book was pretty good too. It was a little wild at the end, which is why it was 4 stars, not 5 stars. It is about a neighborhood who, the neighborhood has tons of drama. There are things happening with like drinking, cheating, murder, question mark, possibly. And then on Halloween night, a bunch of these like little kids come out of the woods and they say that they're running from the Cunning Man, and some of the people in this neighborhood are trying to protect them while also dealing with their own kind of drama that's going on behind the scenes. So it was a really interesting one. I recommend it to people who are looking for that kind of like not exactly normal, like kind of out there a little bit kind of book, but it was pretty good. I did give it 4 stars. And then the last book that I gave, and it was actually a reread, is The Butcher and the Wren by Elena Urquhart. I gave it 5 stars again, which is not surprising to me. The second book, The Butcher Game, is going to be our book club book for the Love and Horror Book Club for October, so I wanted to give this a reread to make sure that I had like a refreshed memory of it. It is about a forensic pathologist who is using like her smarts and things to help cops hunt down a serial killer who has killed like a lot of people, and not all of them are even connected yet, and like how she's able to do it like clinically, and like the little details that she's able to add into the investigation, which I thought was really cool. And I'm excited for the second book because the first book, the way that it ended, I was very intrigued back when I read it 2 years ago, and I'm still intrigued as to what's going to happen next. All right, so those are all of the books that I read this month. Are there any of them that you think that you might read that sound a little interesting? Are there any of them that sound absolutely horrible to you? Let me know down below. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you'd like to, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.